this is where we're talking about the specific practices, the methodology. So you've got UML as one of the key methodologies that were used, prevalent in about a good 15, 20 years ago. But it has lost its edge in the last few years, but still I find it really useful. Use cases, class diagrams, and then collaboration, sequence diagrams, all of these could be done with the UML modeling. And again, another construct there is the user story. So you could potentially use a different type of requirement specification, communication, elicitation. That's what we call as the user stories in the context of Agile. It's still requirements. It's still all about just like how we were doing the requirements gathering, requirement specification, communication. It's the same. Nothing changes in the context of the fundamental practice, but it's just another tool or a technique that we have. And then we also have the acceptance test cases written up, and we as BAs are responsible for writing the acceptance test cases, the scenarios, the Gherkin statements, as what we said last time, given, when, and then, for each of the user stories. So sometimes you actually take a user story and then you write up all the positive test cases as well as the negative test cases. And that's what we call as given, when, then. So you come up with different scenarios of this usage, given the user does, given the system has this, when the user clicks or does something, then the system should do something, blah, blah, blah. So you're trying to set the expectation or the expected behavior of the functionality in a series of, again, given, when, then kind of situation scenarios. And then of course we have got the functional test cases, again, going a little deeper, talking about the data, what kind of data would go in. You say, if it's, for example, a PIN code, a PIN number for an ATM application, you should only accept, for example, numbers or digits, and don't accept the letters, alphabets, kind of a thing. So all of these you would need to test. What will happen if I did this? So all the alternative scenarios is what we call, all of those would be coming in. And then the other thing is obviously the integration test cases. We kind of look at the big picture, not just this payment application, for example, but also, for example, if there is an order management, or if there's a billing application, or if there is some kind of invoicing application. All of these need to be kind of going hand in glove in terms of how they're interacting with each other and how the whole ecosystem is actually working. So you cannot see things in silo. And that's what is the important aspect that we need to really look at within the context of the business analyst and their role. Again, the key part here is test early, start testing very early, and test often. Very, very important. Again, being a BA is not about just requirements, not just about, okay, defining something and then moving on. It's about taking ownership as what we defined and specified the last time. It's about taking the ownership and ensuring that you're delivering on the promise, and the promise is the requirements. And then we as BAs need to kind of ensure and make sure that we're delivering on the promise. And that's what is the testing continuously, whether it is user testing, whether it is accessibility testing, functional testing, or performance testing, all of these different kind of things. We'll go into depth each of these in a greater detail now. But it's important that we do it at various stages. And it's important also to do it with real users, in the sense, people who are going to be the potential users. There's no point actually kind of sharing this product with people who are not interested, not motivated, who do not have the right attitude. Then what is the point? We're not really getting the right feedback. So it's important that we actually test, and that's where we do a lot of profiling and personas and things like that to select the right users for our testing. And obviously it's important we test more. We need to do a lot of different tests, across this entire life cycle, and that's important. Again, as BAs, we need to keep ourselves ready and make sure that we are supporting the testing team, the development team, in actually carrying out all these tests and planning, and then coming up with the report, sharing the reports with the product owner, and also sharing the reports with other senior management. If something really goes wrong, if there is a huge defect that you found, and as they say, there are different types of defects that we classify. A cosmetic defect, for example, is a simple thing, change of a spelling. And then if it is something to do with a medium moderate level, some amount of tweaking of the code might require. But if it's something very severe, then that is going to actually take a lot of time, a lot of effort. And then there is actually a showstopper. So you need to stop everything. Do not release the product yet, because it's a showstopper. So let's all focus on this, work on this particular, fixing the defect, making sure it is good, it is fixed, and then we can kind of take the decision to release